Let's face it, there's just so much information out there. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Totally. Figuring out what's actually useful can feel like, well, a whole job in itself.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why we're here. Welcome to the deep dive. We try to give you that shortcut, to understanding the stuff that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're diving into something pretty fascinating. We're looking at how we can cultivate a more positive mindset, specifically through gratitude journaling.
Right. And then we're going to pivot to the really intriguing world of AI and its potential role in mental health support.
Yeah, and for this, we're drawing on some really relatable stuff from a live show, Mornings in the Live with Keith and Friends, personal stories, listener feedback.
It gives it a nice grounded feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, our mission today is basically to unpack the practical side of gratitude journaling, what works, what doesn't, based on those conversations.
And then we'll get into this new research about AI therapy bots. How do they actually stack up against human therapists?
And we've got insights from a therapist who was actually on that show, which is great. So think of us as your guides through this. We'll pull out the key bits for you.
Without burying you in details. Okay, so gratitude journaling first. Keith, on Mornings in the Live, he talked about doing it for, over a month?
Yeah, 30-plus days, I think he said.
And if you know that show, it's super casual, really conversational.
Definitely. They kicked off with this funny bit between Keith and John.
Right.
Like some analogy about business.
Oh, yeah, the work in your business versus on your business thing.
Yeah.
And then they got sidetracked talking about cigars, which was pretty funny.
It just shows the vibe, relaxed. But it leads into some real stuff.
Totally. Like Keith sharing his actual method.
Yeah.
Using his phone, right?
Yeah.
To kind of nudge himself towards positivity.
Mm-hmm. He set up these daily questions, things like, what's on your mind?
Yep.
Simple. And what can you be kind about today? Or appreciate?
It sounds simple, but that proactive step, that intention, that seems like the important part.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just him. They pulled in comments from their listeners doing these accountability check-ins.
Right. Like Rick, who said something really powerful, like you basically can't feel truly grateful and negative at the exact same time.
That's a strong point. And Matthew Roof shared his daily question. What can I do for someone else right now?
Which is a great twist on it. It just shows, there are different ways to approach this.
But it does raise that practical question, doesn't it? Does this get, repetitive? Does it lose its impact?
Yeah, exactly. Someone actually asked that later in the show when AJ, the therapist guest, was on.
It's a fair question. If you're doing it every day.
And John had a very direct answer, didn't he? He was like, winning, meaning feeling positive, is never redundant.
Yeah. He used that analogy like your brain releases positive chemicals when you feel gratitude. It's a physical thing.
A tangible benefit.
But AJ, the therapist, she added a bit more nuance, which I appreciated.
Yeah, what was her take?
She basically said, well, it's not redundant if it's genuine, if you actually feel the benefit. She compared it to exercise.
Oh, interesting. How's it?
Like the act of exercising might be repetitive, same movement sometimes, but the positive outcome, feeling better, stronger, that keeps it from being redundant. Makes sense.
It does make sense.
Okay.
The key is moving beyond just like writing words down without meaning it, which the host actually talked about too, that feeling of just going through the motions.
Right. And John, again, had some very, let's say, grounded advice. He stressed being intentional about the feeling. And then he used this, very Johnny analogy about necessary repetitive tasks.
Uh-oh. Was it the...
Yep, the wiping our butts and brushing our teeth one.
Knew it. Crude but memorable.
Exactly. His point was, even mundane stuff done consistently with purpose yields a good feeling or result. So focus on the feeling of gratitude.
And his practical tip for fitting it in. Maybe not for everyone, but...
The going for a dump suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, points for practicality, I guess.
Oh!
Find a moment, any moment.
Right. Whatever works. Okay, so that's the gratitude journaling side.
Yeah.
Let's shift now to the AI therapy bots. This came up when AJ, the therapist, was on the show.
Yeah, this part was really eye-opening. Keith brought up a clinical trial from Dartmouth.
Right, this AI called TheraBot.
Something like that, yeah. And the results they mentioned were honestly pretty startling, on par with human therapists for reducing depression, anxiety.
What were the numbers again? They were quite high.
Let me see. Keith said 51% reduction in depression, 31% for anxiety, and get this, 90% for eating disorder concerns.
90%.
Mm-hmm. Comparable to a human therapist, they said. Even though the actual interaction time was pretty limited.
How limited?
Like 6 hours total over the 8 weeks.
6 hours. That's...
Yeah.
There's not much time to build that kind of connection. It's quite surprising.
It really is. And it made me think of John's funny comment about being polite to AI.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
He was just saying, kind of jokingly, that he feels like he gets better results when he says please and thank you to ChatGPT.
Oh, maybe there's something to it. He mentioned Sam Altman noticing different generations using it differently.
Yeah, and something about how politeness actually costs OpenAI more because it uses more processing.
It's funny how we instinctively treat AI socially sometimes.
So AJ, as the actual therapist in the room, what was her gut reaction to this Therabot study? Was she threatened or?
No, not really threatened. It sounded like more balanced. She saw it as, another tool, potentially useful, but very context dependent.
Depends on the person, the situation. Makes sense. Yeah, not a replacement necessarily, but maybe something beneficial in addition to other things or for certain people.
Did she point out any downsides or like current limitations?
Oh, definitely. Her first thought went to the nonverbal stuff, body language, facial expressions. AI misses all that.
Crucial stuff in therapy, yeah.
And also, how does an AI really know if someone's being truthful or understand the deeper story behind what they're saying? That's tricky.
Although Keith did jump in there, didn't he? Mentioning that AI is getting better at reading things like voice tone and even facial expressions now.
True. It's evolving incredibly fast. That's a really important point.
What else did AJ mention?
Something about the interaction being very one-sided.
How do you mean?
Well, with AI, you don't really need to consider its needs or feelings, obviously, so the conversation can become very self-focused for the user.
Ah, I see. Unlike talking to a person, where there's that back and forth, that give and take.
Exactly. Human communication, and therapy especially, involves that reciprocity. AJ felt that might be missing with AI.
That's a really insightful point. But she did see some value in AI, right?
Oh, for sure. Big time on accessibility. Reaching people who can't easily get to a therapist, that's huge.
Yeah, cost, location, stigma, lots of barriers.
And she also saw it as potentially useful for, reminders between sessions, reinforcing concepts. She used an analogy.
Like a workout program.
Yeah, exactly. Something that's always there to help you stick with the plan, practice the skills.
The hosts on the show kind of ran with that idea too, didn't they? Speculating about AI companions for people needing constant support.
Right. And Keith also made the point that AI can sometimes offer really different perspectives, ideas you hadn't thought of.
Yeah, he said sometimes you can almost forget you're not talking to a human for a second.
Which then led him to that interesting thought about philosophy.
Oh yeah, philosophy is a key human skill. Setting it apart from just algorithms. Makes you think about what humans uniquely bring to the table.
Okay, so we've covered gratitude journaling, personal practice, and AI therapy bots, this cutting-edge tech.
Yeah.
Seem pretty different.
They do on the surface, yeah. But is there like a connection, a common thread running through both?
I think so. I mean, fundamentally, both are about finding ways, finding tools to improve our mental well-being, right?
Yeah, that's true. One is very internal, personal practice.
Focusing consciousness, like with gratitude. And the other is this external technological support system.
And maybe John's point about gratitude triggering positive brain chemistry, maybe that connects. Both aim to shift our internal state, chemically or emotionally.
Yeah, overriding stress, promoting positivity. Whether it's through conscious focus or AI interaction, the goal seems similar. Feeling better, coping better.
So thinking about you, the listener.
Yeah.
What's the takeaway here?
Well, hopefully this deep dive has given you a pretty good handle on these two areas without you having to sift through everything yourself.
Right. You've got the practical side of gratitude, the importance of feeling it, not just listing.
And you've got a sense of where AI therapy is heading, its potential, but also, what it maybe can't do yet compared to human connection, all based on real talk and that Dartmouth study.
So maybe the thing to chew on is, how does this tech evolution change how we think about well-being?
Yeah, like how open are you personally to these new kinds of support? And how do practices like gratitude fit into your own life right now? It's food for thought.
Definitely. So just to quickly recap.
We talked gratitude journaling, making it genuine, feeling the benefit.
And AI therapy bots, amazing potential for access, maybe good for reinforcement. But human connection still seems key based on AJ's points.
Right. It's a tool, but maybe not the whole toolbox.
And our goal really was just to distill this down for you.
Yeah.
Give you the useful info quickly.
Hope we managed that. We really encourage you to think about how this stuff relates to you, to your own journey.
Yeah. And maybe just as a final thought to leave you with, what's one tiny thing you could do today?
could be taking literally 10 seconds for some gratitude. Or maybe just, I don't know, Googling AI mental health tools to see what's out there.
Just one small step to explore this stuff for yourself.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.